Everybody's got traumas. We all have experiences that were beyond our control, moments that created pain, suffering, and doubt. But today, trauma has almost become an identity. People talk about it as though it defines who they are. The truth is, most traumas were not permanent wounds, but stressors. They felt overwhelming because at that time, we didn't yet have the capacity to deal with them. But here's the reality. You have a different level of capability today than you did back then. And when you wake up to that, you reclaim your true self. All of us have moments in life where we felt guilty, unworthy, or not enough. But at the time, you made the best decisions you could with the resources you had. You couldn't have done differently. You didn't yet have the awareness, tools, or strength you have now. We're not static beings. We're always growing. That's why post-traumatic growth exists. The whole purpose of going through trauma is not to stay broken, but to rise beyond it. The problem is, many people don't rise. Instead, they carry their trauma like a badge, weaving it into a story they retell so often it becomes worse than the original event. Why? Because that story secretly meets their needs. We all have 6 core human needs: certainty, variety, significance, love and connection, growth and contribution. Trauma checks multiple boxes. It gives significance because it feels bigger than anything else. It gives variety because it creates emotional intensity and unpredictability. In a twisted way, it can even create connection because people listen when you share your pain. But the truth is, life isn't meant to be lived in old stories. Look at the stories we love in movies. Nobody wants to watch a film where everything is perfect from beginning to end. What captivates us is conflict, the hero's struggle, the obstacles that force growth. That's what makes the story worth living. Yet too many people create unnecessary drama in their own lives because they don't realize that the real conflict should be the pursuit of their goals, the pursuit of becoming more. And here's the truth. You are more than your memories. You are more than the pieces of your past. Somewhere along the way, especially in the last decade or so, we've started teaching people to fear their triggers, to ask for warnings before hearing hard truths. But a trigger isn't something to hide from. A trigger is a call to rewire yourself. If you avoid it, your world gets smaller and smaller until fear rules everything. The greatest freedom comes when you realize others have faced worse and still overcome: financial collapse, heartbreak, death of loved ones, illness, betrayal. Someone else has been through it and rebuilt. So why not you? Often the only reason we give attention to ourselves is when life forces us to. Givers especially are guilty of this. You'll serve and care for others endlessly, but only when you break down do you finally turn inward. That's not a sustainable way to live. You don't need to wait for collapse to pay attention to your own soul. Growth requires resistance. If you lift light weights, you maintain. But if you lift something so heavy, you can barely move it and you push beyond your limits, you grow. Emotional and spiritual growth works the same way. The pain you resist is the very weight that will transform you. I once visited Varanasi, where for thousands of years fires have burned without stopping. People bring their dead there because they believe dying in that sacred city ensures liberation. What struck me was how differently they faced death compared to the West. In the East, people smiled even as their loved one's body burned. A boy playfully pushed his grandfather's leg deeper into the fire, grinning with joy. Why? Because to them, the spirit is free, death is transformation, and the body is only a shell. No tears, no fear, only acceptance. Meanwhile, in the West, people rage if their burger comes without sauce. That's the contrast. The West excels at achievement, at producing results. The East excels at fulfillment, at finding inner peace. The truth is, you don't need to choose. You can have both. Achievement without fulfillment is empty. Fulfillment without growth is stagnation. The balance is where true power lies. At the heart of all this is belief. Your beliefs create your reality. Change your beliefs and your entire life changes. When you believe that everything, yes, even pain, is a gift, you unlock gratitude. Gratitude transforms suffering into grace. I know this from experience. Looking back at my own life, I see the miracles I was guided through. Some of it was my choice, much of it was grace. And grace will carry you beyond any moment if you let it. But you must be careful whose meaning you adopt. If you buy into the stories of people who haven't healed, you'll inherit their pain. You are a meaning maker. Stop letting the world assign meaning for you. Choose meanings that empower, uplift, and expand you. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. If you tell your story over and over in a way that keeps you stuck, you're letting it use you. But if you face your fear, step into it, and move through it, you'll find freedom on the other side. And that freedom must happen now, not someday. Not when you've lost everything, but not when you're forced to. Now, because you've already been given miracles. The fact you're alive, that you're here, that you've loved, learned, and experienced. Even loss is proof of life, proof that something mattered deeply enough to hurt. The deepest kind of pain is spiritual pain. It feels unjust, overwhelming, unfair. But when you survive spiritual pain, when you refuse to give up, you gain spiritual strength that others will never understand. That strength becomes part of you forever. It's the gift hidden in extreme stress, because once you claim your truth, no one and nothing can take that inner power away.